Attention, chosen ones. This message finds you now, at the precise moment you were meant to hear it. Hidden forces have been guiding you, testing your awareness, quietly preparing you for a path that few will ever recognize. I am Shi Heng Yi, and today I will reveal truths that lie beneath the surface of ordinary life. Truths the world often hides, even from those seeking them. You may have felt moments when time itself seemed to pause, when your thoughts aligned with events before they unfolded. These are not coincidences. They are signals of awakening, subtle invitations from life to step into a higher form of existence. The path I speak of is ancient, forged by the Shaolin masters, yet it is alive within you now, waiting to be claimed. In this video, you will learn how awareness transforms every action. You will discover practices that sharpen your mind, strengthen your energy, and awaken a presence few truly experience. I will share forgotten principles of the Shaolin teachings, ways to cultivate inner stillness while moving through a chaotic world, methods to harness unseen energy that flows through every moment, and the secrets of personal mastery that lie beyond brute strength. By the end of this journey, you will understand why discipline is not a chain but a gateway, why the challenges you face are mirrors reflecting your inner growth, and how each breath can become a tool of clarity and power. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire. Here we explore the paths that few dare to walk, and the lessons that quietly transform ordinary lives into lives of purpose. Subscribe now and step into the wisdom waiting for you. The message is urgent. The awakening is real, and it begins with you. Silence is not empty, it is alive. In the quiet spaces between thoughts, the truth reveals itself. The Shaolin masters teach that stillness is not merely the absence of movement but a presence of clarity. It is the mind settling like water, reflecting reality without distortion, without haste. In stillness, the world's patterns emerge as naturally as ripples across a calm lake. Many rush through life, chasing outcomes, reacting to every sound, every impulse. Yet the wise understand that action without stillness is like striking blindly in darkness. In the heart of stillness, the mind sees clearly. Decisions arise not from fear, not from desire, but from insight. The Shaolin path trains the body and mind together, breath steady, posture rooted, senses alert, so that stillness becomes the lens through which all choices are filtered. Stillness is also a shield. It allows one to recognize the subtle influences that disturb energy, the hidden currents that guide behavior, the whispers of intention beneath noise. A single breath taken with awareness can prevent a lifetime of mistakes. In every moment when stillness is present, impulses lose their power. The mind no longer reacts automatically. It responds with wisdom. The heart does not burn with haste, but observes with precision. In training, we sit. We stand, we move slowly, yet each motion is measured by the stillness within. Even in motion, the mind remains unshaken, a silent center around which all activity revolves. This is the Shaolin truth. To master the outer world, one must first master the inner. To act decisively, one must first be still. And in that stillness, the patterns of life, subtle and profound, reveal themselves as both guide and teacher. Every breath carries more than air. It carries life, energy, and intention. In the Shaolin tradition, breathing is the bridge between body and mind, a rhythm that unites thought with motion, stillness with action. When breath flows consciously, the mind settles, the body awakens, and a subtle energy, once scattered, begins to circulate through every fiber. The masters teach that each inhalation draws clarity inward, while each exhalation releases tension and distraction. In this cycle, the body becomes aware of itself, the mind sharpens, and a quiet alertness emerges. Breath is not just survival, it is a tool of mastery. A single, mindful breath can steady the heart in chaos, center the mind in confusion, and prepare the body for action with precision and calm. In movement, breath guides energy. During training, each posture, each strike, each step is synchronized with the rhythm of the lungs. Energy flows where the mind leads and the breath carries. The Shaolin understand that discipline of breath is discipline of self. Without control over this subtle rhythm, even the strongest body and sharpest mind remains scattered, vulnerable to distraction and imbalance. In everyday life, the practice is simple but profound. When frustration rises or the mind races, returning to the breath restores presence. Inhale fully, feel the body align. Exhale slowly, release tension. With repetition, breath becomes an anchor, grounding attention, strengthening focus, and illuminating the space between impulse and action. It reminds us that control is not force but alignment between body, mind, and the energy that flows through both. Through conscious breathing, mastery grows silently, steadily. The body learns patience, the mind learns clarity, and the spirit learns resilience. Breath is more than air. It is the constant companion of awareness, the quiet guide that turns fleeting moments into deliberate, powerful living. Discipline is often mistaken for restriction, yet in its truest form, it is the doorway to freedom. The Shaolin masters understood that the body and mind thrive not in chaos, but in measured rhythm. Each routine, each ritual is a quiet teacher, shaping the mind to act with clarity rather than impulse. It is through repeated practice, over days and years, that the ordinary mind learns to recognize what is essential and what is fleeting. Daily rituals are more than habit. They are training for awareness. Waking at the same hour, moving deliberately, breathing with intention. These acts are small yet profound. They condition the mind to respond rather than react, to choose rather than be carried by circumstance. In repetition, the mind becomes a calm river, flowing steadily even when storms rise around it. Discipline, paradoxically, releases the grip of distraction and fear. It is the structure that allows the spirit to explore fully without being pulled off course. True mastery is not forced, it is natural. At first, discipline may feel heavy, as if the will is burdened by rules. Yet over time, the body remembers, the mind adjusts, and action becomes effortless. This effortless discipline is freedom. It allows movement without hesitation, speech without thoughtless reaction, and choice without anxiety. It is the quiet authority that governs life from within, unseen yet undeniable. The ancient wisdom of the Shaolin teaches that liberation is not found in doing everything one desires, but in aligning daily life with purpose. Every ritual, every moment of deliberate practice strengthens the inner self. When discipline becomes natural, it is no longer an obligation. It is the foundation for wisdom, resilience, and mastery. Through this path, the mind is sharpened, the heart is steady, and the spirit moves freely, guided by inner law rather than outer chaos. Every living being carries a subtle current, an invisible force that moves through and around the body. The Shaolin masters call this energy, a presence that can be felt, cultivated, and directed. It is not separate from the body or mind. It is the thread that connects thought, movement, and intention. To sense it is to begin seeing life beyond the surface, to perceive the rhythms that govern strength, focus, and vitality. Awareness of this energy requires patience and attentiveness. In stillness, the currents can be felt as warmth, tension, or flow within the body. In motion, energy guides action, balancing strength with precision. The Shaolin practice trains the senses to detect subtle shifts, when energy is strong, when it leaks, and when it is pulled outward by outside influence. This awareness is a form of mastery, a quiet intelligence that protects the mind and body from depletion. Energy is easily drained by distraction, fear, or negative influence. Every thought, every emotion, every interaction carries weight. When unguarded, energy disperses, leaving the body sluggish, the mind unclear, and the spirit restless. The disciplined student learns to shield and conserve this force, redirecting it toward purposeful action. This is not a mystical act, but a natural skill, grounded in observation, breathing, and intentional movement. Personal mastery begins when one can feel the flow of energy, recognize its imbalances, and respond wisely. A simple pause to breathe, a deliberate posture, a mindful step, these restore balance and replenish strength. The wise understand that true power is not in outward displays, but in the careful cultivation of this invisible force. Awareness of energy transforms ordinary action into deliberate movement, impulsive thought into conscious choice, and scattered strength into focused mastery. It is the quiet pulse beneath every decision, the silent guide that directs the path of those who walk with intention. Every challenge carries a reflection, a mirror held up to the mind and heart. In the Shaolin tradition, obstacles are never mere accidents or punishments. They are teachers revealing where strength is lacking, where patience falters, and where understanding has yet to take root. Each difficulty, whether in action or thought, exposes what has been ignored, avoided, or underestimated within oneself. When faced with adversity, most rush to escape, to fight, or to blame. Yet the path of mastery calls for stillness and observation. To pause before reacting is to look into the mirror that challenges hold. In that reflection, weaknesses are not shames to hide, but truths to acknowledge. Recognizing them without fear or denial is the first step toward transformation. Every setback becomes a lesson, every frustration a guide, every moment of discomfort a doorway to greater clarity. Shaolin philosophy teaches that mastery is forged in this deliberate engagement with life's trials. A strike that misses, a posture that falters, a thought that spirals, all are opportunities to refine discipline, to strengthen awareness, and to cultivate resilience. Mindful observation of each challenge allows the mind to respond with intelligence rather than instinct, with patience rather than impulse. Over time, what once appeared as obstruction becomes a path forward, a teacher whose lessons are subtle but profound. The mirror of challenges also teaches humility. Even the most skilled are reminded of their limits, and in that recognition, wisdom grows. Strength is tempered by insight, courage balanced with discernment. Through consistent reflection and conscious action, obstacles cease to bind, they illuminate. They reveal the inner terrain, showing where energy flows freely and where it is blocked, where clarity shines and where shadows linger. In this way, every difficulty becomes a master, every trial a step toward the inner mastery that shapes a life of purpose, balance, and unwavering presence. To act fully is to immerse oneself in the moment, yet not to be chained by the results of that action. The Shaolin masters teach that true engagement does not demand attachment, for clinging to outcome clouds judgment and breeds suffering. When the mind is fixed on reward or recognition, each step becomes weighted with fear, each decision shadowed by expectation. Detachment, however, allows movement to flow naturally, unburdened by imagined consequences. In training, a strike is delivered with complete focus, yet the master does not linger on whether it lands perfectly. Every movement is intentional, every breath aligned, yet the mind remains free, observing without grasping. This is the delicate balance, fully present, fully committed, yet free from the chains of desire or fear. In this space, action becomes effortless and precise. The body moves as one with intention, the mind responds with clarity, and the spirit remains calm, unshaken by success or failure. Detachment is not indifference, it is mastery of self. By releasing attachment to outcomes, the mind is no longer enslaved by doubt or expectation. Anxiety fades because the future is no longer a burden, and fear diminishes because failure no longer defines worth. Each act becomes a practice in presence, a way to train awareness and strengthen inner resilience. Life mirrors this principle outside the training hall as well. Tasks, relationships, ambitions all require effort, yet none demand obsession with results. The wisdom of Shaolin teaches that when attachment is loosened, the mind sees clearly, energy flows unhindered, and decisions emerge from insight rather than impulse. To act without clinging is to step fully into the moment, to move with purpose while remaining free, and to discover that the liberation of detachment is not escape, but the path to true mastery and inner peace. In the space between stimulus and response lies a power often overlooked. The Shaolin masters call this space the doorway to clarity. To pause, even for a single breath, is to step out of the current of reaction and into the river of awareness. Most act immediately, driven by habit, emotion, or fear, and in that haste, mistakes are born. Observation before reaction, however, cultivates presence, control, and wisdom. In practice, every movement, every word, every thought is first observed. The mind watches the rising of impulse, the body senses tension, and the breath anchors attention. This pause is neither weakness nor delay, it is mastery. By observing before responding, the practitioner discerns what is true, what is necessary, and what serves the higher path. Speech becomes measured, action becomes precise, and energy is preserved rather than scattered. Life constantly tests this principle. Provocation, challenge, or unexpected change can stir the mind into haste. Without observation, impulses dominate and negative consequences follow. With observation, even the most turbulent situations become opportunities to practice restraint and insight. The mind learns to respond rather than react, to act from understanding rather than habit, and to carry intention in every movement. Observation before reaction also shields the spirit. External forces, distractions, and subtle manipulations lose power when the mind is grounded in awareness. Energy is no longer wasted on regret, argument, or misjudgment. Each pause becomes a point of strength, each moment of mindfulness a lesson in discipline. Over time, the body and mind internalize this rhythm, and decision-making transforms from reaction into art. In this way, the simplest act, pausing to observe, becomes a cornerstone of personal mastery, a quiet yet formidable skill that shapes a life of clarity, balance, and unshakable presence. Mastery is not counted in victories or skill alone. True mastery begins within, in the quiet understanding of oneself. The Shaolin path teaches that strength without insight is incomplete, and knowledge without discipline is fragile. To master the self is to know the mind, the body, and the spirit, and to guide each with awareness and intention. In the training halls, the body is honed with precise movement, the mind sharpened through focus and reflection, and the spirit nurtured through stillness and meditation. Each element supports the others. A strong body allows presence, a clear mind perceives patterns and truths, a balanced spirit provides resilience in the face of challenge. Mastery emerges when these three converge, creating harmony within, regardless of the chaos outside. Challenges, discipline, and repetition are the instruments of this journey. Every posture, every breath, every deliberate action teaches patience, humility, and insight. Mistakes are not failures, but mirrors, reflecting areas yet to be understood. Over time, the practitioner learns to move without tension, think without distraction, and act without attachment. The outer display of skill becomes secondary to the inner equilibrium that guides it. The measure of true mastery is not applause or recognition, but the steadiness of the heart and the clarity of the mind. Peace arises not from absence of conflict, but from the ability to remain centered amidst it. Wisdom is cultivated through observation, reflection, and experience. Integrity grows as action aligns with values and decisions are made with intention rather than impulse. This journey of inner mastery is lifelong, unfolding with each day, each breath, and each conscious choice. It is a quiet evolution, subtle yet profound, shaping a life that moves through the world with purpose, discernment, and unshakable presence. Mastery, in the deepest sense, is the art of becoming fully oneself, guided by awareness, discipline, and the timeless principles of the Shaolin way. True strength is measured not by what one can take, but by what one gives. The Shaolin masters teach that mastery is never self-serving. It radiates outward, touching others with the quiet power of presence and guidance. A warrior who acts solely for personal gain remains incomplete, for the highest expression of skill and discipline is service. Every action, every choice, becomes a reflection of character when it serves the greater balance. Humility is the foundation of this service. It is not a denial of ability, but a recognition of one's place within the greater whole. The wise understand that ego limits growth, while humility opens the door to deeper insight. By releasing pride and cultivating restraint, personal power flows naturally and unobstructed. Humility allows one to act without seeking recognition, to lead without demanding followers, and to teach without insisting on authority. In practice, this principle transforms everyday life. Acts of patience, guidance, or quiet protection become expressions of mastery. Energy that might otherwise be spent on dominance or competition is redirected towards support, compassion, and constructive influence. The mind remains attentive, the heart aligned, and the spirit nourished by the knowledge that power is not possession, it is responsibility. Shaolin wisdom emphasizes that virtue and compassion amplify strength. When personal power is aligned with integrity, it becomes both protective and transformative. Discipline, focus, and awareness are no longer merely tools for self-mastery. They become instruments of balance, shaping not only the practitioner but the world around them. Service and humility teach that true mastery is measured in subtle ways. The calmness in presence, the restraint in action, and the quiet impact of a life lived in harmony with higher principles. Through this, personal power matures into wisdom, and strength finds its fullest expression in care, alignment, and compassionate action. The path of mastery is not a distant goal. It begins in this moment, with each breath, each choice, each pause. Embrace stillness to see clearly, discipline to act wisely, and mindful presence to navigate life with purpose. Awakening is not a single event. It is a daily practice of observation, self-reflection, and conscious action. As you cultivate awareness, you begin to move through the world with calm strength. Energy is preserved, thoughts become clear, and actions align with intention. Challenges become teachers, mistakes become lessons, and the journey itself becomes the reward. True power does not come from force or recognition. It flows from presence, integrity, and alignment with a higher purpose. Carry this wisdom into your daily life. Let each breath remind you of your inner strength, each moment of stillness sharpen your clarity, and each act of discipline guide you closer to mastery. In doing so, life transforms from chaos into harmony, from reaction into deliberate choice, and from fleeting effort into lasting growth. Thank you for walking this path with us. If this message resonates, join our community by subscribing to Shaolin Soulfire, where ancient wisdom meets modern living. Like, subscribe, and step into the practice of inner mastery, one mindful moment at a time. Peace and presence guide you always.